Welcome back into another edition of Full Sail Showdown. I'm your host, Noah Latch. There's been lots of question marks in the air since the end of the NFL season regarding Bill Belichick and his future. Now, we have in today our analysts Kaysen Wright and Noah Shamami joining us. Kaysen, I'll start with you. Do you think Bill Belichick will coach again in the NFL?
I don't know. I personally don't know. But I don't think Bill really knows either. So I think we're kind of in the same boat there. I mean, he had opportunities this offseason. Obviously, nothing came to fruition. We had the Falcons. I know you were kind of looking at that for a minute. But I don't know if Bill really knows. And the next time he'll have this decision to make, he'll be 73 by that point. I mean, is he signing a 2 to 3 year deal? Does the team even want to sign up for that? I think there's just way too many question marks. And I don't know. We'll see in a couple years.
I think you should just leave him in the rafters in the Patriots' legacy. I mean, he could obviously land a job somewhere if it's an offensive coordinator, probably a head coaching job. But do you really want to have that kind of year where it's like Kevin Garnett going back to the Timberwolves or something where it was kind of a meaningless season and it really drained a lot of the memory of his career? So I think having just him being a legacy in the Patriots dynasty, he should just keep it right there. Retire, being the Patriots head coach. You won 6 Super Bowls. Don't go to another franchise where you try and build something else and hope on it. If you just retire right now, you could be the greatest coach of all time in the NFL.
You had there, he could get a job as an OC somewhere. Where has offensive coordinator Belichick worked out in the past?
I believe it was the Giants. But I think he was the defensive coordinator for the Giants.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I think he can still get a job on the defensive side. Maybe a senior assistant on the defensive side of the ball, something like that. I know we're talking about head coach specifically. I don't know if he's going to get that status again, but perhaps an advisor role, kind of like what you saw the Seahawks offer to Pete Carroll earlier this season.
Tried to get me there with the little OC thing on the Giants thing. I had to go way back. I mean, that was like 15 years before I was born. But I remember looking at Instagram Reels, and I know you don't have social media, so that's a one-up for me there. Looking at NFL Throwback or something like that. But that's how long this guy's been in the league for. I mean, 20 plus, 25 plus years. And I think at the age of 73, I think it's just time to hang it up.
All the NFL head coaching positions are filled as of right now, so Belichick will keep waiting on that. Another great head coach retired from the game of football just this offseason, Nick Saban. I want to ask you guys who you think had a greater impact on the game.
It's Belichick because he's the only one that coached in the game. We're talking professional football here. We're not talking children. We're not talking college. I mean, if you want to go back to Pee Wee, I'm sure there's some very influential Pee Wee coaches. It's Belichick. It's Belichick hands down. 6 Super Bowls. He was a DC, throw 2 more in there. 8 Super Bowls as a professional coach. What's Saban got?
Well, he does have a professional resume. I forgot which team he coached, but it was definitely an NFL team.
How'd that go?
I think it was the Miami Dolphins. I don't remember how they went, but I remember he had some time there before he went on his college reigns. Let me ask you something. Who did Belichick have all these years that played behind, that ran the court, that ran the offensive system?
TB12.
TB12, Tom Brady. Nick Saban has been there for, 15 plus years. I think he started at LSU or Michigan State. Then he went to LSU. Then he went to Alabama. So many seasons where he had to use multiple quarterbacks, infusing them in schemes. And not to mention, these kids aren't professionals. They're college kids. And he knows how to coach them, let alone in the big situations, which he's been there tons of times. I got to go with Nick Saban because his track record speaks of it with many teams he's coached and had successful seasons. And he didn't have Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback of all time, to run his offense.
See, he had these different quarterbacks, but like you said, the talent level is so different. It's not hard to scheme up against a 20-year-old in the secondary that's going to be at a car dealership in a couple months, Like, we're talking about somebody that was able to succeed on a field full of professionals.
But he never had someone like Tom Brady to lead his team for 20-plus years. I mean, you never see that, let alone a coach and a player where you're like, man, they just keep going and going and going. Meanwhile, Saban, he's got to recruit. He's got to, work his tail off to reach that national championship. So I got to give Saban over the edge.
That's why I think the college game is a lesser product because, like you said, in the professional level, you can have sustained success with one guy and one team. Whereas in the college ranks, there's so much changing that is it you really being the best or is it just luck of the draw that year's class was good for you and bad for somebody else or vice versa? I think when it's you as the top dog in the league and everybody's chasing you down and you've got relatively the same squad, I think there's something to be said for that.
What happened when TB12 left? All hell broke loose. Meanwhile, Saban, A.J. McCarron, Bryce Young, all these quarterbacks that have come and gone, and he's just been there to lead them to success and victory. This year, we didn't even expect them to be in the top 4 in the national champion or the national playoffs, and they're there again. I mean, they lost in overtime to Michigan, but Michigan won the national championship. But it's like this team wasn't even supposed to be in the playoffs. He got them there again, and it's Saban all the way for me.
You only mentioned the playoffs, so you could say Michigan won. So we all get that. You didn't have to take it there, but yes, your team did win the national championship. We understand.
Why not? Why not?
They finally got it, and I guess they finally did deserve it. Much different roles for these coaches. Saban, much bigger focus on recruiting and growing these boys into men, but both have given back so much to the game. Thank you both for joining us. That's all for today for Full Sail Showdown. We'll be back after a break.